Dreams do not have a filter that your normal, polite, waking self puts up.
Welcome to the hidden meaning of dreams with Sweet Georgia Pam.
It does matter what the dreamer themselves associates with those things that come up in the dream.
Spiritual director, dream expert, author, and educator. Sweet Georgia Pam is here to remind us that dreams are the answer. They're always with you. They know you better than you know yourself, and they're always trying to tell you the truth.
There's some back and forth here between you and some awareness.
And now your host, Melissa Carter.
SweetGeorgiaPam.com is the website where you can find out more about Sweet Georgia Pam. We're going to talk about some of the things on our website in a moment. Sweet Georgia Pam is her handle on social media as well. Today's dream is coming from Chrissy Teigen. All right. So we know Chrissy,
Yes.
wife of John Legend, supermodel. She tweeted out, "I had a dream I was planning a wedding, but my friends and I could not for the life of us remember who I said yes to." It's great.
Oh, and that's such a universal dream too. I think the wedding dream. I love that. So read it to me. And she was planning a wedding.
I had a dream I was planning a wedding, but my friends and I could not for the life of us remember who I said yes to.
So interestingly, the thing that strikes me first about this dream is that piece of my friends and I could not figure out this piece of information. And it makes me wonder if Chrissy, previously to this dream, earlier in the week, was having lunch with friends or having a dinner with friends, and they were trying to remember the name of that show, or they were having those conversations where it's like, we're going to pool our resources to get, what was the one that, yeah, when was that? And when you get into that engaging conversation in waking life, it triggers the curiosity and the enjoyment of remembering stuff. This is the intuitive piece, Melissa, where sometimes it's really hard to explain the reason I'm getting what I'm getting. I'm gonna follow this energy, and you tell
Absolutely.
me when we make any sense at all.
Okay.
That's the trigger. Something in waking life was like really interesting in that side conversation. And then you go about your day. Lunch ends, dinner ends, and you go back to stress and stuff. So I have to do whatever. But that intriguing, juicy piece of the conversation is a feeling. And so your dream delves into exploring that feeling and produces a dream where there's something really exciting like a wedding. So it's like amplifying that feeling of fun curiosity, and gossip is not the right word, sleuthing, trying to figure it out as a group together.
Right.
Okay. If Chrissy were here, I would want to ask some clarifying questions about this dream. I would want to ask how she, the dreamer, felt about the wedding. Was it the lighthearted experience that I'm describing, or was it like, oh God, we better figure this out? So that's going to change the interpretation. The feeling tone changes the interpretation. But what doesn't change is my friends and I couldn't for the life of me figure out who it was. It's the pulling all of my resources. So dream characters represent other aspects of yourself. So if you've got like the extroverted friend, that's your extroverted self. You know that commercial? What was a commercial for?
Well, now we're acting like those friends. Now we're sleuthing about this commercial.
It's exactly right. But there's a Zillow, I think it was Zillow commercial where the woman walks in and she's like, okay, we're thinking of buying a house. Sad me. What do you think?
Oh, right. I do think it's Zillow, right. And forgive us if it's not Zillow, but yes. And it was all her skeptical self, her excited self.
So that's the interpretation that comes up with this dream is Chrissy Teigen is exploring all the aspects of herself that are all working together to figure out what they have just committed to. So wedding is commitment, promise, vow. If I were Chrissy, I would go explore what big commitment did I accidentally get myself into?
Love it. You touched upon emotion, right? And that's one thing I learned from you is that the details of the dream aren't necessarily as important as the emotion associated with the dream, correct? I have always focused on the details. I had deep dreams even as a child. I was the kid that would remember my dreams, and I would tell my mother at breakfast every morning what my dream was. And we'll talk about dream recall here in a few minutes, but I would talk about the details like I was telling her a story. I never thought until I met you that dreams are actually telling me about myself, and that emotions within the dreams are important. So that you talked about how if Chrissy was here, she could tell us whether it was a good thing or a bad thing that she was feeling about the wedding. That's important when you are looking at your dreams, right?
Right. And a dream dictionary can't help you with that piece of it. So you have to learn some of these skills on your own. One of the benefits with the emotions is it also helps you delve into various expressions that you aren't necessarily noticing. So if we talk about in this dream, I was confused. As the dream interpreter, I'm going to say, tell me more specifically, what type of confusion was it? Were you confused and scared? Were you just completely baffled and neutral? Or were you confused because something good might happen? So we dial down as specific as we possibly can the emotional felt experience for you and put it in your own words. And that specificity.
Our words are getting bigger the longer we do the podcast.
That specificity, that emotional fingerprint is what you then look for in waking life in your recent past, because that the dream is contextualizing or building a story around a specific emotional fingerprint.
I do want to talk about what I said earlier about recall. Now, I know on your website, Sweet Georgia Pam, you have a free downloadable guide called 6 Nights to Better Dream Recall, because I would hate for someone to listen and say, you know, this sounds great and I'm so interested in this, but I can never remember my dreams. How do you help people do that?
It's actually very universal that we dream. So the only people that don't dream are infants at a very early age of development, and people with certain types of brain trauma that has traumatized the dream part of their brain. There's research behind all of that. But other than that, almost everybody dreams. It's just a matter of triggering our brain to focus on our dreams and get curious about our dreams when we wake up. So there are a ton of ways that you can change your routine to start remembering your dreams. So that's what the 6 Nights to Better Dream Recall is. It's give me 6 nights, less than a week, and I will have some dream recall starting to come back for you. Because everybody has had dreams, but dreams come and go like the tides for us, depending on what we're focusing on when we wake up. When people say, this isn't for me because I don't remember dreams, that is like, okay, well, do you not want to? Because that's okay. You don't have to remember your dreams. But if you want to remember your dreams, there are many different ways that we can try to get to it. Because the first thing to come online when we wake up is actually going to be literal, which is our literal thinking. And that shuts down our creative thinking. So our dreams shut down as we start to wake up naturally. So there are tons of ways around that. One of them, though, is to do this dream curiosity play that we're doing with an old dream, because dreams don't expire in their ability to tell you something about yourself. So pick a childhood dream. What's the earliest dream you've ever had? That doesn't even have anything to do with dream recall. But as you start to get curious about that, your dreams will start to come back to you in the present tense too.
I can tell you my first dream I remember, but then it's funny. I know there's a meaning behind it. I was on a family trip. I've told you this, I'm sure. And we went into a Pizza Hut. And back in the day, Pizza Hut was always dark. And they had those really dark red plastic tumblers. I was in the Pizza Hut, and then my family decided to leave. That's a whole different thing. They abandoned me in the Pizza Hut. The funny part of the dream is all of a sudden the tables started to shake, the floor started to shake, people started screaming, flipping tables and hiding behind them. And so I did the same thing because I thought, what is everybody upset about? And then all of a sudden marching in were these life-size, gigantic red plastic tumblers down the hallway coming into the room. And then I woke up.
You've never told me that dream.
I've never told you that dream. That's my first dream I ever remember was the plastic tumblers. If somebody wants to reinvigorate my nightmares for my birthday or Christmas, just get me some of those damn Pizza Hut tumblers, and I'll flip the table. I'll flip the table. I'll flip the table and hide behind it.
It's your Halloween costume for next year. You have to face your fears.
Exactly. All right. SweetGeorgiaPam.com is the website to get that free downloadable guide called 6 Nights to Better Dream Recall. We'd love for you to participate in the podcast because we want to hear your dreams as well. So DM Sweet Georgia Pam, and that's her handle, Sweet Georgia Pam. So DM her on social media with your dream. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, just leave a description of your dream in the comments and we could use it on a future show. All right, Pam, until next time.
Sweet dreams, everybody.
The content in this podcast is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Pam Muller is not a licensed mental health professional. If you or someone you know suffers from severe, persistent nightmares, please seek medical help.